Alright, so today I'm going to be doing a video about the 2019 Honda Civic LX. So right now we have the 2-liter paired to the 6-speed manual transmission. Let's do a walk around the car. So here it is. It's a little bit windy out, so I don't know if you hear me, but yeah, 2-liter, 158 horsepower, 138 pound-feet of torque. This is the more reliable option to get over the 1.5-liter turbo. Here's the trunk space, pretty deep trunk. You got a lot of room. You could fold back the seats too. I'll show you guys the rear. So this is the rear seat. I got enough room with my seating position at 6 feet tall. We've got cup holders here, 2 of them. We've got this cubby in the door. And then yeah, I've got a good enough headroom. Again, I'm 6 feet tall, and yeah, it is pretty comfortable back here, I would say. All right, going to the front here, we do have manually adjustable seats, so you could have the seat reclined back and up and down. There's no lumbar support in this car. For storage, you've got a very deep center console, 2 cup holders. You've got a place for your phone here. You've got more storage under here. And you've got these cubbies in the door. You got 2 automatic windows in the front, 1 touch, and then the back windows are just regular. Electronic parking brake. Tons of room in the glove box. You've got Apple CarPlay. Digital display. And this car does have 62,800 kilometers on it right now. As you can see, the fuel range is 7 liters per 100 kilometers. And that converts to around 33 miles per gallon. So I'll show you guys how it drives. Now this 2-liter engine is the slower option over the 1.5-liter. 158 horsepower, 138 pound-feet of torque, compared to the 1.5-liter, which is, I believe, 180 horsepower. But it gets up to speed no problem. This engine is a lot better than the engine that was in the previous generation, which had the 1.8-liter naturally aspirated. I found that engine to be a bit underpowered, kinda. This one's more, I guess, torquey. You don't have to accelerate as hard. And then the 6-speed, I believe, would also help a lot, you know, having the gearing a bit shorter. And then on the highway, the fuel economy also helps out having that 6th gear. It does sit when you're cruising just under 3,000 RPM at like 110 or 115 kilometers. So it's not too bad, I would say. And then the 7 liters per 100 kilometers I'm getting in the city. I mainly drive this car in the city. Highway, I've seen people get them down to like 5.5 or 6 liters per 100 kilometers, which is crazy. I would say, like, for this engine, I don't know how the 1.5 liter is. It's supposed to be more fuel efficient. I'm not sure how much more if this one's already so good. This engine is also the more reliable option. It's port injected opposed to direct injection, so you don't have all the carbon buildup that you have to worry about. Also, less things that can go wrong. There's no turbo. You know, it's a simpler design. It is a K20, I believe the K20 C2. So this engine paired with the manual transmission is the most, I guess, reliable way to go if you're buying this car. The CVTs are okay too. There is some stories I've heard people have issues with them, but it's probably because they didn't maintain them properly, you know, didn't get the fluid changed on time, stuff like that. There's a lot of factors that can play into it. Now this manual transmission, the throws are really nice. Downshifting, very easy. If you're new to manual, this is a really good car to learn on. The clutch is super light. It is raining a little bit right now, so the road conditions aren't too great, but yeah, I mean, getting onto the highway, no problem. The road noise in this car is, you can still have a conversation, obviously, like, no problem, but it's on winter tires right now, and at the end of the day, it is a Civic, so I'm sure you can hear some road noise right now on the highway as we're cruising along. The car does have single pane glass windows, so the sound deadening isn't the best. At the end of the day, it is a Civic, it is an entry-level sort of car. So you can't expect too much. It does come with a pretty decent head unit. So it has Apple CarPlay and I believe also Android Auto. The audio system is also, I was actually surprised. The audio system's pretty good. And this isn't this doesn't have Bose, it's just the standard system. The way to get Bose, I believe, would be in the touring version, or you would have to get the SI. Now this car does have an open differential, which I've never had any issues with it. Even in the winter, I've always driven Civics in the winter and I've never had any issues with it, really. Even on all season tires, it was still going in the snow. Braking in this car is really good. It's got all 4 disc brakes, which I believe is all standard now. I know on the 9th generation, so the previous gen to this, some of them had rear drum brakes, which aren't that great. So I'm glad Honda decided to switch to disc brakes all around now. It does have automatic climate control. Pushes out a nice amount of air. Yeah, I didn't talk about the handling of this car yet. A good amount less body roll compared to the 9th gen base models. Obviously, we're comparing just base models now, not the SI. Yeah, the 9th gen, I used to have it, and the body roll was kind of, well, it was pretty noticeable. This one, it's a lot less. It handles a lot better than the 9th gen. I don't know what they did with it suspension-wise, but they did something. The 9th gen had a tendency to understeer kind of easy, especially in the rain. Nothing to do with the tires. It had a year-old Pirelli all seasons on it. I don't know why, but this one does understeer a lot less. Yeah, the power isn't too bad. I already talked about it. It's pretty good. I was kind of surprised with it. It sucks that it's wet right now, because with this open differential and the rain, it's just gonna spin, so I can't really show you guys how it puts down that 158 horsepower. But yeah, this is my replacement from my 9th generation. One of the main reasons I got rid of it is because the rear quarter panel started rusting. And that's kind of shocking, because it was a 2015 car. And yeah, like, I live in Canada where they salt the roads in the winter, but still. And it only had like 75,000 kilometers on it. So I'm not sure why it was starting to rust so early. It was oil sprayed. What's it called? Like rust prevention, like the oil spray they put on it to prevent rust. It had that done, and still it was rusting. I'm not sure why. Now I noticed actually some of the body panels outside, like this car wasn't in any accidents or anything, but some of the panels are a little bit, like, the gaps aren't exactly symmetrical. I don't know if they came out the factory like that, but that's one flaw I noticed about this car. I'm not sure if all 10th generations are like this, but, or maybe I'm just too picky, I don't know. Also, the gas cap is a little bit like recessed in from the body by like, I don't know, maybe like 2 millimeters or something, which only I would really notice, and it's only really noticed if you really look at it. If I remember, I'll show you what I mean. Nearing the end of this video, right? But yeah, overall, this is such a good car. Like, you don't have to worry about anything breaking on it. Nothing like that. You just buy it, drive it. You just have to change the oil. Now, this is a nice road to kind of push it on, but with it being wet and the car on winter tires, I'm not gonna do that. But I can tell you from experience, driving this car for the past 2 months, it handles really good for a base model Civic. I had like the Hankook all-season tires on it, and it was gripping really well with those. Those are the tires that the car comes with from factory. Alright, I'll show you guys what I mean with the body panels and the gas cap. So it's sort of like in compared to the rest of the body by like a few millimeters here, but here it's kind of flush. And then the front bumper, I don't know if you can tell, but the gap here is a lot, not a lot, but it's bigger here and then smaller here. I'm not sure if that's just how they're built or what, but yeah. But yeah, that's really just those two things, the front bumper alignment and then that gas cap, is the only complaint. Actually, the paint by the window, there was like 3 rock chips. So I did hear a few people stating that the paint on these cars, it's thin and it chips very easy. You know, mainly from people who own the SI and the Type R noticed it because they track the cars. You know, obviously it's gonna get chipped, but even daily, like commuting, it'll probably get chipped too. Like on this car, like one of them was really bad, but yeah, I fixed them all up so you won't even notice it. But and another thing, I'm kind of worried about this electronic parking brake, how long it's gonna last. But yeah, that's all. That's really all the complaints I have. And yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, good car. Depending on the mileage, they range from 15,000 to around 20,000 Canadian. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see more.